r/AskReddit. What are you afraid of? Dementia. The idea of slowly losing my memories and forgetting my life, my family, and friends, and who I am is terrifying. Dying a slow, painful death. I would take dying instantly in an accident any day over months/years of suffering. It may sound stupid, but aging. Someone snatching my kids from me. I was followed around a mall when my daughter was still young enough to be in a stroller. Creepy dude followed me in and out of 3 stores. Didn't let up until I met up with my husband and other child. A clown that is made up of spiders. Tornadoes. I'm claustrophobic, which is usually confused with claustrophobic, but they are not the same. I'm not afraid of enclosed spaces, I'm afraid of being trapped. Sometimes the issue may be a small space, sometimes it can be a situation. Like one time visiting a popular tourist site, I was in a gift shop that sold tickets for an upcoming show. Since the show was about to start, the line wrapped through the shop as people bought last-minute tickets. There were 3 exits, and the shop was a decent size, but because it was jam-packed with people and I couldn't get out, I ended up panicking until finally I could get through. I didn't end up seeing the show that day because I was not trying that again. On a different note, I certainly hope any partner I have in the future doesn't get their hopes up on seeing me in handcuffs, because absolutely not. Not making an impact to anyone. Not being able to protect the ones I care about. Pain. Being alone forever. I like it, but the thought of having no one to love is scary. Dying young. I'm not afraid of death. I know we all have to go. But there is so much I want to experience still. There's so much left to do, and all it takes is some fucking asshole driving drunk or some shit that can fuck it all up. Time, it's petrifying. Everyone you loved, known, what literally shaped you into who you are, they are all gonna die, and death is unknown. Who knows what happens? Someone who you love and cherished so much, when they die their body is still there, but it's them, but it's also not, and I don't know what's gonna happen to them. They could be anywhere or maybe even nowhere. I don't know, and that scares the ever-living shit out of me. I also got some memory problems, so one day I could be chilling with my family, the next I could be at school 2 months later with having barely any memory of the time period. My life's going on, but I'm not aware, and there's no way to stop time, cause, well, I can't, that's how it work. But what if people I love die? All the times I had with them, the memories might slowly disappear, so I can't even cherish what I have left of them. I'm in rehab and almost died, and I'm really scared I will drink again and die. Not being a good enough parent. Nothing. Except leeches. Leeches can fuck off. I'm scared of politicians who have no hobbies. Sea snakes. They're just normal ass snakes in the ocean. Not death, but the fear of what comes after death. Is there an afterlife? A heaven? A hell? A void of dark nothingness where there is only the mind with extreme limitations. If I think about suicide, I can often think of my reasons to live, such as my friends, my family, and the hope that I will have a fulfilling life. But in times when I feel like there's nothing, the one true thing that stops me is the fear of what would come after. I'm a Christian, but I'm also not a perfect human being by any means. Combine that with the fact that I don't know if my interpretation of Christianity is the right one, and just overwhelms me to think of what would happen after I pass. I don't think of this often, but every time I do it scares me. I'm really scared of cyborgs, hyper-advanced robots, and disembodied brains that are still conscious. A lot of people are scared of death, but that doesn't scare me. I'm much more scared of why you can live through. And if you live so long that your flesh degrades and you turn into a series of organs encased inside a robot body that can hacked into and controlled, that is the most terrifying concept ever. It would be like existing in a perpetual state of sleep paralysis, I imagine. I'm also claustrophobic and scared of pool drains. My nana not liking that I'm gay. I haven't told her yet, but every time I think about it, it makes me sick to my stomach. People, I've got social anxiety. Cancer. My children dying before me. Prions disease. Living too long. Discomfort. I don't mind death or not living enough, I mind living in discomfort my whole life. Spiders. The loss of control. The fact that I'll always be alone with the voice in my mind. White text on a black screen, especially if it's on a CRT display. I have no idea why, I just do. The future world for my children. People are scary and getting scarier. Growing old, dying, and being forgotten. Animatronics. Failure. Death. Animatronics. Being at home alone at night. Mascots. And clowns. Particularly mascots that are clowns. Yes, I was terrified of Ronald McDonald as a child. My children dying at a young age. I don't feel I would want to live anymore after that. The effing ocean. F that place. Passing before my children reach adulthood. My biggest, lifelong irrational fear, dead things. Anything dead. I don't mind spiders, I love bees, snakes are super cute, but you put a dead bee in front of me and I'm afraid of it suddenly. No idea why. Even dead flies scare me. When my childhood pet rat passed away, and I found him in his cage in the morning, we knew it was coming, I couldn't hold him. I had to leave the room. I felt horrible about it because I truly loved him, but my brother had to wrap his body in a blanket before I could be near it. Failure or being a loser. It's my biggest fear. Something happening to me or my BF and the other being left behind alone and broken. I had a BF die unexpectedly in 2018 and I don't want to go through that again. The thought of my current BF being left behind and broken scares me and makes me cry too. I used to fear death for myself, but now I fear it for him. I can't stand the thought of him being alone and hurt. Cockroaches. I fear their relative intelligence and toughness while being so much different to human beings. Being the teacher that let a student down. I know that I may not be the teacher that makes the biggest difference in that exact student's life. However, I'd hate to ever be the teacher that a student felt wanted them to fail or thought I did not care about their success. 2 things. 1. Shadows. I had an experience when I was younger that makes them triggering to me, trauma. When I was about 12, my sister allowed 2 strangers, guys, into my parents' house and one of the dudes was watching me sleep. Like when I woke up his face was mere inches from mine. So now when I see a shadow in the dark, I do double takes. 2. Not accomplishing everything I want in life. Now I don't mean that as I want all of this before I die of old age. I want to be able to travel, experience life before something unintentionally happens that could cause my death. Not providing for my family. Worms on the sidewalk during a rainstorm. Don't want to step on them and squish them into worm goo. Being forgotten after I die. I want at least one person to remember my life and I want to at least change one person's life before I go. Hurting those I love. Also, Teddy Roosevelt once said there is nothing to fear except fear itself. Failing at life. Dying alone. Financially devastating medical debt. I got life beat except in the case that I should get some disease that requires a long drawn out and obscenely expensive treatment, forcing me to surrender my wealth or die. Please let me die quickly and painlessly when my days are up, be that tomorrow or 45 years from now. Alligators, crocodiles, and brain aneurysms. Alzheimer's. I've watched several people die with it. It's such cruel disease. So many terminal illnesses are so awful. That my grandmother cries. Context: my uncle, my grandmother's son, had a serious illness all his life. Besides that, he was always bedridden. He died recently, and my grandmother slept in the same room as him, forever sleeping with him, and some of them saw him talking to him even though he didn't answer. And #X200B, since my grandmother died, he enters her room and talks to her as if he were there, and I feel sad and a little afraid of what I can do about it. And #X200B, I am new to Reddit, and I did not create my account for a long time, but I do know that it is a united social network and I would like answers. Not having enough money to retire. Sleep paralysis. Being abandoned in a low-quality nursing home when I'm very old and no one ever visiting me or checking on me, just getting sicker and losing my mind and wanting to die. I watched it happen to my great-grandmother when I was a kid and it scarred me. Rejection. The dark. Ironically, I'm scared shitless by fursuits despite being a furry myself. I'm worried that something bad will happen and I won't be able to experience life the way I want to and will die as a teenager, especially with what's going on in the world now. Reindeer. Dying, being alone, COVID, surprises, and anything that can both fly and buzz. Living an unhappy life where I don't even matter to myself. Him from Powerpuff Girls. No offense to anyone who would be offended by that, but him creeped me out as a child. Rejection. Or not being understood by the person I love. Been reading all these super deep answers and I'm over here being deathly afraid of spiders. My knees hyperextending, and mandolins. The kitchen thing, not the musical instrument. Mummies. I'm sick and fucking tired of it being okay to put a literal image of a corpse on your YouTube thumbnail. Why? If it was a normal body no one would allow that, but for some reason this gets a pass. It's a shame. I used to love ancient Egyptian history, but I just stopped years ago when I found there's no way to see what's on the next page without using the slowly pull the page back, almost completely folding it until you're sure there's nothing there. You rarely see such images in a book about murder, but go to any 5th grade classroom and, oh gee, would you look at that? It's worse than a corpse too. Uncanny Valley's got nothing on that shit. The fuck is wrong with his skin tone? This bitch looks like a damn Slim Jim, preservation my ass. Then we get to the bog, whatever the fuck, thingy nightmare fuel. Jesus fuck. The bastard looks like he popped out a bowl of week-old gumbo. This is the reason I can't eat jerky, and I love jerky as well. So yeah, fuck all that, fuck it to hell. The government. Fear itself. Loneliness and abandonment. I'm too afraid to tell you. I'm not going, and I don't know what's going to happen to him. I don't want to lose my mother. My parents getting old. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video then you should like and subscribe.